Hi, hi Shloka God again, Kieran here. Um, basically, as promised, I will now talk to you about your antinatalist view. You've done a lot of videos on this, so good work there. I'm broadly in agreement with what you've been saying in them. Well, since it's been a big topic on YouTube recently, I felt like I should join the fun and say something about it. But I should probably respond to the actual antinatalists themselves, but I haven't been keeping that close a tab on what exactly their views and justifications are, so I'm a bit slightly wary of accusing them of things they're not guilty of, or taking kind of assuming they have fundamental kind of aims that they might not actually have. And what I have done though in the past is, I think a year or two ago, I read David Benatar's book. And I thought that was I don't know if you've read it, but I thought it was a really well written book. But I obviously have some fundamental disagreement with it. I mean, I don't really share his view. So, responding to his view, I kind of basically I think his view mainly sort of hinges on this asymmetry, or this supposed asymmetry between creating pain by creating a child and creating pleasure by creating a child. Basically, he seems to say that creating pain is sort of outweighs any amount of pleasure you might create. So creating a child is always wrong if its life will contain even a tiny scrap of pain. I don't really hold this asymmetry view. I basically see it as symmetrical. I think that I accept that creating pain by creating a child who has the pain is wrong. I mean, it's a bad thing in itself. But I also think that creating pleasure by creating a child who has that pleasure is good, and that as a utilitarian, I think that basically you can weigh some good against some bad. As I was saying in my against equality ethos videos a few videos ago, basically I think that while pain is often more intense than the pain that we encounter or can encounter, can be often much more intense than the pleasure. So it often is appropriate to prioritize a bit the reduction of pain, but basically I think they can be weighed against each other. And I also believe that, as a matter of fact, most people, by their own reckoning, seem to have more pleasure than pain in their lives. So, on the whole, creating a life in itself is a good thing. Though, because of overpopulation and so on, I think ultimately having a child now is a bad thing. It's a bit of a long story. So in a way I kind of agree with them that with the final result that having a kid is a bad thing. But not for a fundamental reason like they have. I mean, thinking about the asymmetry, one thing that really makes me not find the view appealing is basically if they're saying that because of a little scrap of pain, like the pain of having a pinprick in your arm at some point in your life, that means that you should never have that child because that pinprick in the arm in its life at some point outweighs all the pleasure of the rest of its life. If they think that, I mean, it seems to sort of follow from that, that doesn't that follow from an ethos of kind of saying that causing any pinpricks in people's arms, even by your actions, considering people who are already alive, that's wrong. If we follow that ethos, then it would be wrong to ever cause anybody a little bit of pain or inconvenience. Like, for example, if you sit on a crowded train, that's always wrong because someone else will suffer slightly because they can't take the seat, or if you take a job, somebody else is going to suffer. So, let alone like do some sort of defensive sort of thing, like a war or something, or any kind of force that's going to make someone suffer a little bit. or creating any pollution. I mean, this is just an absolute view that seems to just rule out loads of. Basically, you can't really do anything while you're alive without doing wrong if you take this kind of pinprick kind of position. And quickly, one last point is that I feel that, I mean, if you take an example, which is unrealistic admittedly, that say you could make a baby who definitely doesn't experience any displeasure in its whole life, might say surely that is a positive thing. It's not just a neutral thing to do. That's a positive thing. And again, if we don't take this absolute kind of view of pain having priority over pleasure, then surely if that's a positive thing, then that positive can be weighed up against negatives, I would have thought. Anyway, I hope you liked my response there as well, and keep up the good work. Talk to you soon.